planet. Photographs taken by astronauts and orbiting satellites prove that the Earth is spherical in shape, but it is not a true sphere. It is slightly bulging at the equator and flattened at the poles. The polar diameter, that is 12,712 km, and circumference, that is 40,000 km, are slightly less than the equatorial diameter, that is 12,756 km, and circumference, that is 40,090 km. The spherical representation of the Earth is called the globe. The globe is a small model of the Earth which represents continents, oceans, countries, etc. It is very easy to locate a place on a flat surface with reference to another place, but it is difficult to locate a place on a globe because of its spherical shape. Thus, to find the location or direction of a place, we need certain points of reference and lines. The Earth rotates or spins upon an imaginary axis. It is inclined at an angle of 23.5 degrees. We find two poles situated at the end points of the axis. The pole pointing towards the pole star, that is north, is called the North Pole. The pole opposite to it is called the South Pole. Between the North Pole and the South Pole, there lies an imaginary line called the equator. It divides the Earth into two equal parts or hemispheres. The part of the Earth above the equator is called the Northern Hemisphere. The part of the Earth below the equator is called the Southern Hemisphere. India is in the Northern Hemisphere while Australia is in the Southern Hemisphere. Thus, there are three reference points for describing the location of a place on the surface of the Earth. Number 1, the North Pole. Number 2, the South Pole. Number 3, the equator. Parallels and meridians. A globe has two types of circles. The first type of circles run from west to east and are parallel to the equator are called parallels or latitudes. The second type of circles run from north to south and pass through the North Pole and the South Pole. Half of these circles between the North Pole and the South Pole are called meridians or longitudes. The parallels and the meridians intersect each other at the right angles, and the network of these lines on a globe is called the Earth's grid. These lines help to locate the position and direction of a place on a globe. Latitudes or parallels. The imaginary lines that run from west to east and are parallel to the equator in the form of circles and lie on both sides of the equator are known as latitudes or parallels. The latitude of a place is its angular distance north or south of the equator. It is measured in degrees. Each degree is divided into 60 equal parts called minutes. A minute is further divided into 60 equal parts called seconds. The equator represents the 0-degree latitude. Therefore, all parallels north of the equator are called north latitudes. All parallels south of the equator are called south latitudes. Therefore, the value of every latitude is followed by the letter N or S for north and south respectively. There are 90 parallels in the northern hemisphere and 90 in the southern hemisphere. These imaginary lines are used as reference points to locate a place on the globe. Thus, there are 181 parallels including the equator. Cities and towns that are near to the equator are said to be in the low latitudes. The places near the poles are said to be in the high latitudes. All parallels or latitudes are in the form of complete circles. The equator is the longest parallel. The length of the parallels start decreasing as one moves away from the equator towards the poles and vice versa. The farthest latitudes, the North Pole that is 90 degree north and the South Pole that is 90 degree south, are in the form of imaginary points. The distance between any two parallels at an interval of 1 degree shown on the globe is 111 kilometer. All of them are located at an equal distance from each other. Some important parallels. We know that the equator is a very important reference line. Besides the equator, there are some other parallels which are important because they divide the earth into different zones. They are, number 1, the Tropic of Cancer, that is 23.5 degree north. Number 2, the Tropic of Capricorn, that is 23.5 degree south. Number 3, the Arctic Circle, that is 66.5 degree north. Number 4, the Antarctic Circle, that is 66.5 degree south. Meridians or longitudes. Longitudes or meridians are a set of imaginary lines running from the North Pole to the South Pole. They are used as points of reference for locating places in East and West. The meridian passing through Greenwich, that is a place few kilometers east of London in the UK, is known as the 0 degree meridian. It is also known as the prime meridian. Actually, the longitude of a place is the angular distance of that place lying east or west of the prime meridian. The prime meridian divides the globe into eastern and western hemispheres. For example, if a person is in the eastern hemisphere, then his or her longitude is measured in degrees east. If one is in the western hemisphere, then his or her longitude is measured in degrees west. There are 180 meridians to the east and 180 meridians to the west sides of the prime meridian. Therefore, in total there are 360 meridians or longitudes. At the equator, the distance between two meridians is the greatest, that is about 111 kilometer. The distance between the meridians decreases as one travels towards the poles and vice versa. All the meridians meet at the poles. Wonderful to know! Eratosthenes was the Greek geographer who invented the system of longitudes and latitudes to locate places on the earth. He was the first person to calculate the circumference of the earth. He also coined the term geography. Locating places on the globe. Look at the globe given on page number 116. The latitudes and longitudes are drawn upon it. They intersect each other and form a network on the surface of the globe. This network is known as grid. We can find the location of any place on the globe with the help of the grid. To locate the exact position of any place, we should know its position in terms of latitude and longitude. Look at the location of New Delhi on the globe. The latitude of New Delhi is 28.38 degree north and its longitude is 77.12 degree east. So, the point of intersection of 28.38 degree north and 77.12 degree east is the location of New Delhi. Longitude and time. We calculate the time according to the position of the sun. The position of the sun and the earth keeps on changing due to the rotation of the earth upon its axis. One rotation of the earth upon its axis gives us the measure of the day. There are 24 hours in a day. Due to the rotation of the earth, the sun appears to move across the sky from east to west. But actually, the earth rotates from west to east direction and completes one circle which has 360 degrees. Thus, the earth rotates through 360 degree of longitudes in about 24 hours. Therefore, our earth rotates through 15 degrees Celsius of longitudes in 1 hour and 1 degree of longitude in 4 minutes. As the earth rotates, every meridian faces the sun, once in every 24 hours. When the sun shines exactly overhead or is at the highest point in the sky, it is midday or 12 noon at that meridian. The longitude passing through Greenwich has been taken as the standard meridian by all the countries of the world. When it is midday or noon time in Greenwich, all the places along the prime meridian have noon time. It also means that if any meridian is facing the sun, all the cities located on that meridian will have noon time. The earth keeps on rotating on its axis from west to east. Therefore, the cities and places located towards the east of the prime meridian have sunrise earlier than those cities which are situated towards the west. Cairo, 31 degree east longitude, experiences sunrise before Canton, 81 degree west longitude, and Kolkata, 88 degree east longitude, experiences sunrise before New York, 74 degree west longitude. Thus, the cities towards the east of Greenwich are ahead of the Greenwich time. Cities located west of the prime meridian will experience noon after Greenwich. Therefore, they are said to be behind the Greenwich time. Thus, we observe that the difference in time between any two places is due to the fact that they are located at different longitudes or meridians. Wonderful to know! The word meridian is derived from the Latin word meridianus, which means midday. AM stands for anti-meridian, which means before noon. PM stands for post-meridian, which means afternoon. Local time and standard time. The local time of an area depends on its longitudes, but it differs from place to place because these places are situated on different longitudes. This causes a great inconvenience for the country as a whole. To overcome this problem, the time of a central place situated on the particular meridian is taken as the uniform time for the whole country. This is called the standard time of that country. In India, the time of Allahabad city, which is situated at 82.5 degree east longitude, is used as the standard time for the whole country. Thus, the meridian 82.5 degree east is known as the standard meridian of India. As Allahabad is located on an eastern longitude, it experiences sunrise ahead of Greenwich. For every degree of longitude, there is a difference of 4 minutes. Therefore, the Indian Standard Time is 82.5 multiplied by 4 minutes, that is equal to 330 minutes ahead of GMT, or we can say that Indian Standard Time is ahead of GMT or Greenwich Mean Time by 5 hours and 30 minutes. Time zones. Some countries are very big. For example, the USA, Canada, Australia, and Russia. A large number of longitudes pass through these countries. Thus, one standard time for these countries is impossible for practical purposes. Therefore, to solve this problem, the International Prime Meridian Conference held in 1884 agreed to divide the whole world into 24 standard time zones of 1 hour each. Each zone runs from the north to south in the form of a narrow belt. In most cases, the west-east boundaries of every zone have been adjusted with the political boundaries of the countries. The meridian or longitude that passes through the middle of each time zone has been chosen to represent the standard time of that time zone. In most of the cases, the standard time of time zones is ahead or behind GMT by exact number of hours. Only in the case of a few countries, the difference is half an hour. Some countries of the world fall under a number of time zones because it is not possible to select one time zone due to its large area, like Russia, which has 11 time zones, while Canada has 6 time zones. International date line. the 180-degree meridian is called the international dateline. 180-degree east and 180-degree west is the same meridian, but it is not a straight line. It is drawn on the map in a zigzag manner to accommodate countries or groups of islands on one side of it. If we cross this line from west to east, we adjust our watches by adding a day. But we subtract a day when we cross the international dateline from east to west. The Earth is always moving. The two movements of the Earth are